Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us today for the Contractor's Corner. I'm Joe Grusz from Professional Lighting Services. Hey, I want to keep this intro as short as I can today. The video itself went a little bit long, so I'll try to cut to the chase here. Today, we're joined by Tim O'Sullivan in our office. Tim is in charge of our quotes and layouts and some different things. And I wanted to get for you all to get a sense from Tim about what we can do. So without any further ado, I want to cut straight to Tim.
Okay, everybody, we were joined here with Tim O'Sullivan from PLS in our office. I want to get one thing out of the way straight away. Tim is the brains behind the operation. I'm just the pretty face that comes and sees you. So Tim's only heard that joke about 400 times, so that's why he's not really laughing. Tim,
Never gets old.
As you've seen, we've gone through this video series with everybody on some of the things that PLS has to offer that may be a little bit unique. So I want to start off basically by introducing everybody to you, a little bit about your background and what it is specifically at PLS that you do that can help our contractors.
Yeah, so my name is Tim O'Sullivan. Background-wise, I've got went to school for architecture, worked in the architecture field for about a dozen years. Then over a series of events in life, switched over to the lighting industry, and about 10 to 12 years in the lighting industry since then. My main role here at PLS is in charge of the design and specification side of the business and running operations here at the company.
Very good. So tell us a little bit about kind of what separates PLS and what I'm talking about in that aspect. You know, the layouts, the photometrics that you do, and what you have to offer when jobs go over budget, that type of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a big part of what we do here at PLS. So when a customer comes to us, whether it's a contractor or an owner or a specifier, you know, the first thing we are trying to do above anything else is provide a lighting solution that solves a problem. So that could mean anywhere from helping select the right fixtures to helping with providing an appropriate lighting design strategy that will yield an end result that satisfies the requirements of the job. And that could be something that's aesthetically driven, that could be something that's performance driven, and above all, it all has to be budget driven.
Right.
Because if you can't afford it, it's not going to get purchased. The job's not going to come to fruition the way it's designed to. So we try to take all of that into account the first time around when we are putting a job together, when we are working and on picking out different fixtures. And then as we are piecing all those parts and pieces together from our toolbox of toys, we ultimately have to prove that out. And that's where photometrics comes in. And that becomes a large part of what we do, both on the specification side, on design build opportunities, putting our solution, if you will, into the computer and calculating everything and putting real numbers to it to prove that the solution we come up with works. And here's basically a design, a layout that proves it to you, is really important. It not only helps convey what our solution is and that it really will do what we say it will do, which is important on a side note to some agencies that need to review it. Like if you are doing a job that has site lighting, oftentimes the city will need to review the site lighting plan to make sure you're not, throwing too many foot candles off the property line or you're within certain thresholds. So the photometric plans will help prove that. But more than that, what they really do is allow us an opportunity to provide a three-dimensional representation, a rendering of what the final result will look like. And that goes a long way, we've found, to convey to the owner okay, this is what I'm getting. This is what I want. And we've had a lot of success with that.
I'll tell you, Tim, you and I were just working this week on one of the a very similar application to what you're talking to. And when I see the photometric layouts that you build in your computer, every time I see those, I'm a little in awe of how that's done, because I don't understand that part of the how you do that. But when I think, if you're going to present that to your ultimate end use customer as the contractor, what an incredible tool to have, where it's applicable, that it's needed. And I think that, sometimes we need to utilize that more, because it is such an appealing presentation.
Well, in a picture, they say a picture's worth 1,000 words.
Yeah.
So sometimes just having a simple rendering or two can
Yeah.
convey it much faster to the owner. A lot more than a 15-30 minute presentation could.
And with what I know about lighting, which we'll just say is limited, when I look at a drawing that shows that shows the foot candles spread out and there's all these numbers everywhere, it's really busy, right? And then you show me this photometric design, I'm like, oh wow, yeah, I can see that. And a lot of times, the ultimate person that's writing the check, they're not lighting people. They want to know what their building's going to look like. And when they see it, I think it separates our quote many times from anybody else's, because you can see a 3D drawing that's very impressive and it makes sense. So
having a quote and a number is one thing,
right?
But to know what that will become in the end is quite something else.
Yeah, it's very cool. So we're going to wrap this up here pretty quickly, Tim. But one of the things there's a couple points I want to make, and hopefully you can second these thoughts. The first thing I want to really hammer home to everybody is, when we're working on these projects, particularly design and builds, or where we're, whether it be a VE or VA or whatever it is, if you find that we come in a little over budget or a little bit higher, we have 75 manufacturers. Don't hesitate to communicate that with us. Am I correct, Tim?
Absolutely.
So, a lot of times as lighting people, we see this solution as being the best solution. It may very well be, but when it doesn't fit a budget, it doesn't fit a budget. So unless everybody wants to share, hey, this is where we need to be with us, and sometimes somebody will and sometimes they won't. When we come in a little bit high, or we're in second or third place, come back to us. We may have an option where it might not be, as quality of a product. We can typically hit the budgets if we know what we're working with, correct?
Yeah, and what I like to say is, if there are aspects that are over budget, we have a pretty good understanding of where do we need to keep a certain quality fixture and where can we make cuts. I call it the scalpel approach. We know where to do it so that it doesn't impact let's say the experience of the job or the space. But there are certain areas where you can trim back a little bit and you're not really going to notice. But there are certain areas you don't touch.
Yeah.
Because that will make a big impact to the overall value of that space, whether it be interior or exterior. So we have a good understanding of how to balance that when it comes to where to save some money.
And I think the moral of this thought process is, that's where we really want to build partnerships with you, the contractor, right? To where we can work together. It is not at all uncommon. Tim and I do this all the time, where we're working on something and questions pop up, and we want to make sure we understand exactly what it is that you're wanting to do. So, we get Tim and myself on the phone with the contractor, the end use customer, whoever it is, and have a conference call. And typically we find that when we open that line of communication, we get very far, very fast. And, we'll also do platforms like this with Microsoft Teams, where Tim can share some screens and really hammer it out and see what makes sense. And, very rarely do we find that once we open that line of serious communication and start really partnering with the contract, that we can't get where we need to be. We can't always be low, let's be honest. But once we fully understand, what we have to work with, where we need to be, we can typically get there, and we can work with you on a project and do what we need to do on the majority of projects, correct?
Absolutely.
So I very much encourage you guys, let's get Tim involved face to face on Microsoft Teams, let's conference calls, let's open this line of communication. And I would love for some of you to reach out to me and say, hey, this photometric thing, it sounds pretty cool. You say it's cool. Let's get on a Teams meeting with Tim. I would love to show it to you, but I can't explain it. So let's get Tim on a Teams meeting and share some screens and show you some things that he has done in the past, to give you an idea what it's going to look like for your projects. And I really think it's going to be worth your 20 minutes that it takes us to go through some of this stuff just to see it for yourself. So,
absolutely agree. Yep.
Tim, thanks for coming here with us today. And guys, when we get into these projects, in a post-COVID world, I want Tim to come with me to meet all you guys at some point. So we'll work through that once we get some vaccinations.
Yeah, hopefully soon. We'll see when.
Tim's a fun guy to hang out with, so we'll all go do lunch at some point. So Tim, thank you so very much. We'll talk to you very soon.
Thanks, my pleasure.
You guys, thank you very much. I'm glad you got a chance to see that. I very highly encourage you to reach out to Tim or I, get on a Teams meeting, do a conference call. Let's show you some of the stuff we can do. Let's work together to find a good solution for you. And hey, don't forget, let me know you like this video through the YouTube. Send me a text, send me an email. Just let me know you watched it, and we're going to register you to win one of these prizes right here, your choice. Or I got a custom lure maker to design these for me. So if you're a fisherman, this is one you can get too, guys. Hey, thanks a lot. Don't forget to like us on YouTube. Find me on Facebook at Joe Gruss, PLS. Love to hear from you. Let's set up a time to get together. Thank you.